everyone. Welcome. And hopefully, you guys are doing good and having a great day and a great evening. And I sincerely mean that. Um, so, I want to come on today and talk about a few things that I don't get the chance to talk about too much, but I want to talk about news and politics. And this segment is going to happen about once a week. I'll come on and kind of tell you a few things, tell you my opinion. And these are just my opinions on everything, but they are based in fact. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not going to spew out any lies or anything like that, and we'll get into that. And I welcome comments. Please fill up my comment section. And if you want to come on the show sometime, man, just let me know via Teams or Zoom. You can come on and express your feelings too, and we can have good conversations. If you are a Democrat and you want to hide behind the computer and fill up my comment section with unproductive comments and call me names, because you're not going to like this podcast, it's going to piss you off. Um, Leave your address. Have the balls enough to leave your address. Don't hide behind your man bun avatars and make rude comments without leaving your address. It'll save me some time from having to hunt you down. With that said, um, to my Republican friends who are organizing, to my Patriot friends who are organizing, and I'm seeing an increase and an uptick in this organizing, more power to you. I love you, and I'm here for you. Not just my online friends who are making the comments that we should all get together, we should all organize and everything. I'm all for that. But the people right here in my community who are organizing, I applaud you. And sorry, I just got done with dinner. Mm. And uh, if there's any way I can help, just let me know. Um, I spend my day. I spend my day a lot um, talking about doing a little research, doing factual research and things, and I'll show you guys some results of that. But I want to talk right now about the what's going on in Minnesota, and I can show you uh, this right here. These are protesters protesting against ICE, against a federal entity, and these are useful idiots of the Democratic Party. What do I mean by that? And we'll talk a little bit more about lies. These people are godless people who have no direction in their life, who are failures, or who are living off the government in the first place. So they believe what the Democrat Party has told them. They believe that they are all victims of the Republican Party, which the Republican Party has not been in charge up there in a very long time, just like Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. It's funny how they get on TV and they lie and blame everything on the Republicans, and the Republicans haven't been in charge for a long time. Now, everything good that Donald Trump has done, they'll take credit for it. I noticed today that the murder rates came out, and the murder rates are down in for 2025. We're down. They'll take credit for that, but they won't give credit to Donald Trump, who is removing the murderers from these people's own neighborhood, and they won't give Donald Trump credit for that. And that's how you know that these people are useful idiots and they believe the lie. So let's talk a little bit about the church, but these people who broke into that church and were protesting inside a church. Do you think that for 1 minute that Don Lemon would break into a mosque and do the things he did? Do you think he would even break into a black church? No. And it's sorry to see that the people and the patriots of Minnesota do not stand up to this. Were there no people in there carrying? If he tried that in the church in my community here in Tennessee, there'd be more people killed in the crossfire than there would be the people that broke in. Everybody is carrying in my church. We have security. That doesn't matter. Everybody's carrying. Everybody in my neighborhood carries. Everybody that I know carries. My wife carries, and that's important to us. And I hope you carry too. I really do. Um, but these people are haters. They hate Christianity, and they hate you, and they hate me, and they hate the Republicans. They are anti-American. There's people in Iran that are protesting to be like America. And then you have people here in America that are protesting because they want to be like Iran. Think about that. There's something inherently wrong with these people. That's why I do not get along with Democrats. They are wired differently than I. They are a different species than I. Even though we're both of the human race, their mind, their thinking, their psychology is backward to mine. We are on totally two different ends of the spectrum. I do not wish to converse with them. I do not wish to talk to them. I do not wish to or aspire to be like them. And anybody who votes Democrat, you got to be dumb. There's a special category of stupidity if you vote Democrat or espouse the Democrat ideologies. Democrats are nothing more than baby killers, anti American, anti patriot, and all things hateful. They are the party of death. Uh, so I listened today a little bit about the Democrats and the grilling of Jack Smith up on Capitol Hill, and the, let me say this: I listened as much as I could. I would turn it off and on, and every time a Democrat spoke, I I turned it off. I don't care what they have to say. Let me show you something real quick. This is what I hear whenever I hear a Democrat talk. It doesn't matter. I can't listen to these protests. I can watch the stupidity of things going on up there and how dumb these people are, but I can't listen to them. I can't listen to my local Democrats. I can't listen to local Democrat politicians. Not that there's that many here, but I can't listen to them on TV. I can't listen to them on the news. It I don't hear people talking. I hear the demonic shriek. I hear demons talking, and it nauseates me. Let me uh let me show you something here. And this is, you remember when Jesus was confronting the man who had a demon in him, and uh look at right there where 7, and Jesus is a distance away, and the demon, the man saw Jesus coming, and the demon saw him coming, and he said with a shriek he screamed. And if you goes on, and Jesus asked what's his name, and he replied, my name is Legion. And he did this with a shriek. That's what I hear when I hear Democrats talking. And I hear it in the local grocery store. And I hear their lies. And let's talk about those lies for a minute. Democrat politicians go on news shows. They show up in front of their own constituents who believe their lies already, but they are given permission to lie. What do I mean by that? They're given permission by they're Democrat donors. If you ever notice, if you ever listen to Democrat politicians and online, and Democrats in general, but mostly Democrat politicians on the news, on the ABC, NBC, the Sunday morning shows, MSNBC, especially CNN, all the fake news media. If you listen to them, it's always the same talking points because they get their talking points from a central location owned by George Soros and other wealthy Democrat politicians. They are given permission to lie and they because they are unaccountable. They are unaccountable because they hide behind security. If you remove their security, they would be accountable to the American people and they wouldn't lie. Have you ever noticed that nobody confronts their lies? They can go on and say anything, call Trump a racist and call you and me racist and xenophobe and homophobe and Islamophobes. They can do that because they hide behind security. I want to show you something real quick. This is probably the most destructive policy. This is not a law or a regulation. Not, certainly not something that you and I voted for. But this is a policy that is through the Federal Election Commission that grants people, politicians, the ability to hire security using campaign funds. So these people can say whatever they want. They are saying exactly what they want, what their Democrat donors, their campaign donors want them to say, and can hide behind security to do it. They don't care about you. Democrats don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about America. But they're raking in that money. Ilhan Omar goes from making $174,000 a year to worth $30 million in a couple of years. How does that happen? Bought and paid for. Did you uh, about the security? This it's very offensive to me that they would hide behind security. They are making federal law that affects you and me, and we can't confront them. We can't say anything about it. We can't ask them in public forum about it. We can't say anything about it. You want to know more about their security? The information and everything you need is out there. And I'll just leave that right there. Um, let's talk about the Somalis and all the fraud up there in Minnesota. Did you vote to send $9 billion to the Somalis in Minnesota? I didn't, and I don't think you did either. There is definitely in this United States, and maybe even there's people on the left who agree with me, there is taxation without representation. You know, I've done pretty well for myself over the years. I've made a lot more, certainly a lot more money than where I came from, and I was born poor. But I've done well over the years, not in investments, but through hard work and salary and commissions, and I've done pretty well. And I look at my tax statements over the last few years, and I've paid in more than 50% of my income has gone to taxes. And what have I gotten for it? What do I have to show for that? Yeah, I got, you know, I don't know. I live in a pretty safe neighborhood, but I pay the bills for my utilities. And oh well, we've paved the roads. No, I pay gas taxes for that. What am I getting for my taxes? I am not being represented for my taxes. It's taxation without representation, which started this country 250 years ago. What I would like is every little vote that has to do with my taxes, I'd like to be able to vote on it. Do you think I would vote to send $9 billion to Minnesota for the Somalis? No, I would not. You know, I got a brother. He's got a pig heart. He got some pig parts in his heart. And he Um, he it took him 2 years to apply for disability, but you can come across the border and you can be a Somali in Minnesota and get benefits just like that through one application. He had to go 2 years without any income, him and his wife struggling just to get disability because he can't work. Did you vote for that? I didn't. I sure didn't vote for it. You've got people that are allowed in this country who hate this country. And I'll tell you, this is what I know about Muslims. And I don't care to converse with Muslims. I don't care to live with them, live around them, or anything. I don't have anything to say. Um, I was in Desert Storm. I was in southern Turkey, northern Iraq during Desert Storm. Worked side by side with Muslims, civilian Muslims in the population, and they made no bones about it. They're your friends today, but they want to kill you. Death to America, and they want to see you beheaded. And then, how is it that they ended up over here? How is it that they're running for office over here? Who let these people in the first place? It wasn't people who now feel betrayed by America over there fighting them that they're now over here in Congress. It wasn't the people who fought those wars, it was the Democrats. It was the fake Democrats that hate you, they hate me, and they hate America. And they bring them in here because for the votes, for one, for the votes, for the support, and they hate you. They want the chaos. They want to denigrate you and show you that you are nothing. Did you vote to have them all the people from third world countries over here? I sure didn't. So let's talk a little bit about local politics. And you know, there's been an invasion of Tennessee, and we allowed it to happen. We welcomed it because they brought their money. The people from New York, people from Illinois, people from California. Not saying that there's not some good ones that came down here, but they moved to Tennessee because we are a low tax state. We are you can buy a house, a nice house here for a very affordable price, get a good job that pays good, low taxes, good schools, all because of Republican policies and Republican control of Tennessee that has created this. But they move down here and they vote for the same policies and the same people that destroyed the places that they came from. And it's happening. You can be on TikTok, on the reels, on Facebook, and everywhere, and see all these people in Tennessee that live in Tennessee who are complaining about Tennessee's policies that moved here. They're from Tennessee. They're not from here. You can tell by their accents and other ways, their blue hair and everything else. And they want to make it the same policies and people that they moved from, that destroyed the places they moved from. That's lunacy. They're lunatics. And you know, you it's the same Democrats that I can't hear, that make me nausea to listen to. You know, Justin Jones, it was on Hannity the other night. Justin Jones is a pure idiot. Um, he does not care anything about Tennessee. He does not care anything about America. He only cares about his selfish ambitions. He only wants to be in a Democrat administration that he can thrive in, that he can take advantage of the corrupt Democrat led administration and make money. Just like Ilhan Omar, she totally set out to make money. to come to this country to lie to you, to hate me, and to make money. And Justin Jones is no better. What has he ever done for Tennessee? Nothing. Um, there's a paper here in Tennessee called a newspaper called the Tennessean. Don't read it. It is a leftist rag owned by USA Today, and I doubt the policies or the people there that work there have any sort of sense whatsoever. And unfortunately, I grew up with that newspaper here in Tennessee. Grew up with it, and it was a decent newspaper for a long time, but it's not now. Don't subscribe to it. They're nothing but leftists. Let me show you this website here. Uh, this is the Tennessee Star. They have a lot of good articles in here. Um, and some national, but most of them are it's local news and a lot of good articles. You can read them here, breaking headlines and things. It's this is a good newspaper, and it's not right wing propaganda or anything like that. It's your news. It's your basic news. And I'll tell you a little story about this right here. This is the stuff that Justin Jones hates. A Tennessee bill would block purchase of land by companies or individuals from China and and other adversaries. That's the kind of stuff that Justin Jones and the Democrats hate. And they'll call you a Chinese hater, a racist for hating the Chinese policies and everything like that, and not care anything about Tennessee. They think that they can take advantage of the Chinese and make them money. That's all they care about. I'll tell you about Chinese buying land and why we need this bill. Several years ago, it's been a while now, but several years ago, we had a major Asian carp invasion. It happened in very many waterways all over the United States. Well, it happened here in Tennessee too. 2 years before the Asian carp invasion, the Chinese bought land and built a factory, a fish processing plant right on the river up toward Kentucky in Tennessee. And um, it sat there for 2 years after they built it and didn't process anything. All of a sudden, the Asian carp matured enough to the point and became so populated that we had to harvest them. The federal government, the Tennessee government, and local fishermen had to harvest these Asian carp to try to get rid of them because it ruined the natural fishing around here. And we used to catch a lot of fish in the Tennessee River. I grew up catching 100 crappie a day, catfish and brim and everything else. And we had to have something to do with these Asian carp. Well, lo and behold, there was a Chinese Asian carp processing plant, wasn't there? So the Chinese used the Tennessee waterways without any cares about what's going on in Tennessee and the natural resources of Tennessee to harvest these Asian carp and send them back to China to feed their own people. And we needed this bill a long time ago. I don't want them building uh, bases around my bases. I don't want them to build anything around our military bases. I don't want them to build in my community. And that goes for the Muslims around here too that are building bases around here, like up in Clarksville, not too far from here. Um, and you can get in trouble for talking about that. I don't care. You can't cancel me. I don't work for anybody. I'm retired. So I don't care. I'll say what I want. But you know who's going to care? The government. The government will take down this podcast before long. You wait and see because I speak my heart, I speak my truth, and I speak what I know is true. Um, Speaking of the First Amendment, and we're going to end up like UK, like United Kingdom. Um, and I'll tell you a story. There's there was a woman who was standing across the street and down a ways from an abortion clinic. She backed up against the fence, she bowed her head, and she said a silent prayer. And she didn't move her lips. She was just praying in her thoughts. The 1984 George Orwell thought police came by and asked her what she was doing. Rather than to deny Jesus, she said, I'm praying. As far as I know, she's still in prison. But you've got that ridiculous call to prayer being played 5 times a day in cities in the UK with large swaths of public land that they're praying on in the parks and on the street. They're praying. Has anybody asked them what they're praying for? I'll tell you what they're praying for. They're praying that you die. They're praying for your beheading. And don't let them tell you any differently. That's exactly what they're praying for. And you need to wake up to this. We really do. We really need to wake up. We are way too comfortable as patriots. What do I mean by that? You've got your big screen TV, your 88-inch TV. I know, I got one in there. You got the you got the money coming in. You're sitting pretty good. You got money in the bank. I got money in the bank. You know, you're doing pretty good. Your kids for now are okay. You got plenty of food in the fridge. You got running water. You know, you got gas in the tank, and you're comfortable. And you know what takes courage out of the American people and the American patriot? Comfortability. You cannot be comfortable. If you are comfortable, it's taken away all your courage. And you're not a courageous patriot anymore. And slowly but surely, these things will be taken away from you, taken away from you, taken away from your kids, taken away from your grandkids. The Democrat Party wants you to live without Jesus and without God because they do it in North Korea, they do it in China. If you don't have a faith, if you have no faith to look to, the government will control you. And they don't want to compete with God. The Democrats want to control you. I applaud my black friends who have escaped the Democrat Party and who are independent thinkers and who are not useful idiots of the Democrat Party anymore. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of useful idiots out there, but I applaud my black friends who have escaped. And you know, one more thing I want to say about the locals here. Turn on the news, WSMB, Channel 5, Channel 17, any of it. Turn on the news. And uh, who is it committing the crimes here in Tennessee? And it's the same in Chicago and New York and LA. It's the same group of people. If we cannot identify the people who are committing the most of the crimes, then you cannot solve the crime problem. There are two motivating factors in the human heart. And there's two things that you are motivated by as a human. There's the threat of punishment and the promise of reward. The Democrats rule by the promise of reward. Vote for me and you'll get this. Go ahead and commit that crime because we're going to reward you with your freedom. And we'll send a social services guy over there to talk to you every once in a while and we'll rehabilitate you. And that's how the Democrats rule. And it does not work. But I'll give it to the Democrats. One thing that they're good at is they know the human motivation and what it takes to trigger you and what it takes to make you motivated to talk or to vote for them. Republicans rule by the threat of punishment. And Here in Tennessee, you commit a crime, you get booked, and then in Nashville anyway, then you get sent home. You get set free. I wish that a Republican was in charge of Nashville because all this crime that is blowing up in Nashville, it's it's outrageous how much the crime rate in Nashville has gone up since Freddie took over. I thought it was worse under Megan Barry, but it's worse under Freddie. Um, but it's amazing that, if we had a Republican in there who would enforce the law, who would hold these people accountable, who would not let them free to go and commit other crimes, but hold them in jail until their court dates, and then send these people to prison and quit coddling the prisoners. Why are we giving them internet access, cell phones, um, TV, and 3 meals a day? Give them a job, give them a Bible, and rehabilitate them that way. Quit coddling them. They go to prison, and it's just a hotel. Might as well run a hotel. If you make it bad, when they're old enough and mature enough, they get out. They tell the younger generation, then, don't do this. You'll go to prison, and you don't want to be in prison. But prison is nothing. It's a vacation. That's my thoughts on prison. Um, Another thing about local politics here, Freddie and Megan Barry too, they hate that downtown business. They hate the downtown um, tourist, the bars, the country music, and all that. They want to destroy it. They've almost taxed it out of existence, but they absolutely hate it. It is Americana. It is America, and these are anti-American people, and they hate you and they hate me. And Tennessee and Nashville in 10 years will be lucky to have a tourist industry if we don't do something to protect it. The city council and all of those people, Afton Bain, who we barely escaped, um, luckily Matt Van Epps got chosen, and but there was lot of Democrats. That goes back to my point about the Democrats coming here and voting for the people who destroyed them. They hate that downtown business. They hate Nashville. They hate Tennessee. They hate you, and they hate me. Um, in closing, guys, keep Jesus in your heart. Keep organizing. Keep fighting. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.